Sometimes you're probably going to burn yourself out trying to make progress, and then you'll have to figure out what optimal is. And other times, you'll undershoot and you'll get less progress because of it, and then you just have to figure out what's optimal. And it's that forever. It's that forever and ever.
The old me did burn down. Literally and metaphorically. And the new us is rising from that. And I think that that's just par for the course. And burning down hurts. Of course. You're not going to do great stuff where it doesn't hurt. There's no such thing.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1656, Freestyle Friday. I forgot what we talked about because I put it in another spreadsheet, but we talked about something.
Our listeners, you're going to need to get it together for the listeners.
We talked about something, and it was Freestyle Friday.
Strong work.
Thank you so much. Today, for episode number 1657, sometimes you need to cross the line to find it.
Tell me.
You have heard us talk about the drive to 5 many, many, many times. And what the drive to 5 is in any example we use is there's usually one polarity, there's another polarity, and then there's somewhere in the middle that we're aspiring to get to. Yeah. And that's what 5 is. One polarity is 0. One polarity is 10,
Palmieri.
5 we're trying to drive to because it's
usually say
confident yet humble. It's understanding your worth, but not overvaluing yourself, but also not undervaluing yourself. You invest money. You're not super scarce with money, but you're not overly abundant with money. 5 is centered, is the way we like to put it.
Also known as optimal.
Optimal, some would say. But the only real way to find what's optimal is to swing and miss on both ends. Now, we all tend to have a home on one of these two ends, but my example for this, we had our event last weekend, is today's Saturday. Yeah, so 7 days ago we had our event, and there is a post-event hangover that happens. I know the team that traveled back home is dealing with it. I'm definitely dealing with it. I know you're dealing with it in your own unique way. I thought I was going to be fine. And then Monday came, Alan was under the weather, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to catch up on R&R, and I'm going to kind of relax and get what I have to get done and just kind of hang out. Tuesday was a slower day for me. This week has been slow. And I've had a ton of guilt about the fact that I'm not back at it 100%. Because before the event, I was so burnt out. I was so overwhelmed. I was so anxious. I don't know if I even realized it. It was the pot of boiling water. I don't know why I can't talk today. The pot of boiling water where if it goes up 1 degree, you don't notice. If it goes up another degree, you don't notice. And then eventually you're sitting in boiling water and you didn't even know it got that hot. I think that's what I was dealing with because there was no one thing that happened that overwhelmed me. But it was right now. At the time, I was doing 9 social media accounts, and we're doing 8 episodes a week. I'm doing 7 here. I'm doing 1 with Podcast Growth U. I'm coaching a bunch of people, and it just got to the point where I was just not doing super well. Once the event ended, it was like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders, but I didn't feel that way yet. I didn't understand that. It didn't feel like it. I didn't have enough time to understand what that meant. And I think that's what this week was for me of, okay, Kev, we're getting back into waking up and going and looking at our habits for the day. We have enough time to meditate now. We can really focus on what do we want to do for fitness goals? What do we want to do for business goals? What do we want to do for relationship goals? So sometimes you need to cross the line in order to find it. I went way past it in terms of productivity. Then I swung way back, and now I wasn't super productive this week. The ultimate goal is to figure out, okay, how do I get back to the center? So a very early next level nugget for this episode is you're probably learning a ton of valuable lessons as long as you're looking for them. If you're either guilty that you don't feel like you're doing enough or you're burning to the ground because you feel like you're doing too much, just make sure you find the lesson, and then hopefully that lesson helps you land more in the middle next time.
Picture an upside-down horseshoe on a graph.
Oh, boy.
The max point is the 5, center point. So a graph with 0 to 10, 5 is it's an upside down horseshoe, and the maximum is 5.
The old upside down horseshoe.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Yep, very familiar with it.
You throw nachos in the microwave, Kev, right?
Yeah, you a big horseshoe guy? You play horseshoes back in the day?
I did. I'm not
Never got
big horseshoe guy, but I
never understood the game. I didn't get it. You just
Some
throw this thing at
games-
this stick. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're just throwing it at the stick.
Leaner is 2. Ring around is 3. Within 1 horseshoe length is 1.
I see. I didn't even know that was a rule.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they
yard
say
games.
close but no cigar. Close but no cigar. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
Because you get it close.
That's why they say that.
Wow, that's a breakthrough. Sorry, go ahead.
That's a huge. You've learned so much today.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so upside down horseshoe, 0 to 10. 5 is the maximum point, the optimal amount. Nachos, Kev, you put them in the microwave.
Yeah.
You with me?
I'm there.
Okay. Cheesy nachos. Put them in the microwave for 3 minutes is optimal. 3 minutes is 5. 3 minutes, it's the perfect amount of cheese melted. 4 minutes, burnt the cheese. Not good. It gets all kind of nasty. 2 minutes, it's doesn't taste good because it's not melted. Cheese is not melted. I always say optimal is 3 minutes. And I think everyone can relate to that because nachos are awesome. That's what we're talking about here when it comes to sometimes you have to overdo it to find 5. So you had to try 4 minutes and then eat crappy nachos that are burnt or throw them out in order to figure out, okay, 4 is too long. And then you have to try 2 and, cheese isn't melted. Okay, I got to put it in for another minute. You have to experiment. Life is a constant experiment toward finding what's optimal, and optimal changes. It slides. It changes based on the goal, based on the person, based on the circumstance. And so what is the optimal amount of people to invite to an event? What is the optimal amount of podcasts to do? Self-improvement in your pocket every day from anywhere on the planet, completely free. For us, it's once per day because we believe in daily habits. There are certain people out there, many of my clients included, listen to this podcast once every single day. One of my clients told me, every single morning, no matter what, bar none, whether my husband's in the car or not, NLU.
Respect.
I'm listening. She says, I'm listening to the boys. She calls us
Respect.
the boys. And, right? And he was at the event, too. He came with her to the event, which was awesome. Because I remember she said he was there, he loved it. I was like, oh, no. Was that his first exposure to us? Because that's a lot. And she's like, no, he's been listening for a long time now. Which was good. That gave me more certainty. Because if that was your first exposure to me, ruh-roh. We hammered it. But anyway, so back to the point of this episode. Everything in life, you're trying to find the sweet spot. And so Kev went over, anxiety zone, burnout, struggle bus. And now you overswung back because your center point changed. What you are capable of, you and I both. Okay, pre-event, event season. So pre-event, a lot more than we can typically handle. In addition to everything else we're already doing. Okay? During event, typically a lot more than we can handle. In addition to everything we're already doing. Post-event, hangover. Huge high at the event. Right after the event, huge high, connect with the team, awesome, wonderful, meet all the people, see all the people, love it, photos. Post-event, hangover.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-event, we learned a lot from previous 5 other events. So it was a little better this time. The during event, we learned a lot from the 5 other events, so it was a little better this time. Post-event, the hangover wasn't as bad. You and I talk about when we went to Arizona, we went to an event, a Brendan Burchard event, and you needed like a week to recover. Granted, that was a 4-day event.
And it was anxiety. I was recovering from what I thought was a sickness, but it was anxiety.
Yes. I don't know if this is your experience, I would ask. My experience was this hangover it was a quicker recovery. I had one day that I was really exhausted. And then I had the intestine thing going on. I felt like my lower intestine was being pulled. I had a bad stomach, something. No idea if it was something I ate or what's going on. It's even got me questioning my love for sushi. It's like, oh no. But anyways, so I know. Devastating news. I got asked on a podcast earlier today, what's your favorite food? And I said, sushi. She's like, what with that hesitation? I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I can stomach it anymore after what just happened. I'm scared. We'll see. And I don't think it was the sushi, but we'll see. But anyways, was the post-event hangover better or worse than the past?
Worse.
It was worse.
Yeah, because I'm doing way more than I ever have.
But in the past, it would take a week to recover, though. I think you get up better, and I think you get up quicker and better each time.
Well,
typically.
I was already 10 out of 10. I was already so far into the anxiety zone that I'm telling you, the event didn't affect me as much in terms of overwhelm because I was already maxed out. There was not really much further for me to go.
Yeah.
So I just think I was counting down. There's this moment when the event finishes and we take pictures with all the amazing humans who want to take pictures with us and everybody's gone and we're packing up. There's this moment for me where it's like, I can breathe now. This is like the first moment where I can actually take real breaths of, okay, this is done. Now I can go back and I can focus on longer term stuff. Like I haven't tracked habits in 2 months. You know, I went and updated my stuff yesterday. It's just copy and paste. Like, let's see. And I think I averaged like 63%, but I wasn't going in and tracking my habits every day. I've just been in survival mode. Right? We went next level social media. We went from having 3 clients to 15 clients in the matter of a month.
Yeah, it's nice.
And since it grew so fast, I was doing 9 of those clients. And I didn't realize how much that was going to take out of me. That was a 3-hour block every single morning. I had to get up at 5 o'clock if I wanted to go to the gym and I wanted to get everything done. It was a lot of pressure. I think pressure is the best way to put it.
It's so interesting to me. A 3-hour block intellectually sounds totally doable.
Yeah.
Like at 30 minutes of exercise a day. It sounds so intellectually easy. Sometimes it's like, how are we going to do this?
Well, then it's even, okay, cool. That 30-minute block of exercise has to be first thing in the morning. Can't do it at 9 o'clock at night. Has to be first thing because these posts have to go out at a reasonable time. So that's one thing is it has to be early.
Yeah.
That's one thing it was so hard for me. You know how I'm wired. I like to do something and then I like to finish something before I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to have open loops of, okay, half the social media is done. Where do I have another hour spot? Oh, I don't have it until 4. All right, hopefully I can get everything done in that hour before my next 2 calls. It's just been that. Now, right now, I'm doing 7 social medias still. Right now, as we speak. Not including my own. I'm doing 8
no
social
live
medias.
event stuff.
No live event stuff.
And 2 less than what you used to do. So it feels easier.
And the 2 less were 2 of the harder ones.
Yeah.
Now it feels like child's play.
Yep. That's growth.
So, again, right now, and this is kind of the lesson for this episode, what I'm doing right now, 3 years ago, would have been 10 out of 10 anxiety zone.
Oh, it wouldn't even have been possible.
Yeah, but now it is.
I never know if I get this to land, Kev, but
most likely not.
One of the things... Okay, so Emilia pre-event was I felt bad because she had to take on all the household responsibilities. So Kevin and I had a conversation 2 months out from the event. My word for the year is proactive. And there's a lesson in this. I don't want to just talk about us. But I said, Kev, I got 80% of it this year. Keep doing what you're doing. You focus on next level social media, growing that. I'll focus on the event. Okay? You still helped, but I would say 80% of the responsibility was me, 20% was you. Fair? And then AIM took responsibility as well as the live event coordinator. So you're taking 80% of the brunt. You're taking 100% of the brunt of NLSM because I'm not really doing it. I'm taking 80% of the live event. I talked to Emilia and I said, I'm going to need support because I'm going to be responsible for making sure this event season goes well. She ended up taking more and more and more responsibilities around the house to make up for the fact that I'm trying to do my big 5 to thrive. Writing, WhatsApp/email, sales, mobility, and exercising every day. So my big 5 to thrive, I haven't missed in 2024. That has been, I mean, if you think about it, it's 20 minutes. So it's writing's 20 minutes, WhatsApp/email's 20 minutes, sales is 20 minutes. So that's an hour right there. Then you've got mobility for 10 minutes, and then you've got exercise for 30 minutes. That's an hour and 40 minutes a day. An hour and 40 minutes a day. And that's if they're back to back to back with no breaks and but none of that. And there's transition time, so let's call it 2 hours a day. I need 2 hours a day. And I keep siphoning time out of R&R in the evening because I can't get it done before 7 or 7:30 or whatever. Something comes up. So she took up event season plus Big 5 to thrive, which she's been very supportive. She had to take on a lot of the household stuff. Kitty litter, watering hole is what we call it. Kitchen dishes, food, all that stuff. There were times in event season where I felt so guilty and I was in shame and I was insecure and I felt bad. I felt bad for how much she had to shoulder. And what I said is, one, I'll never let it happen like this again. But in a way, I said that last year.
Yeah.
But things are different this year, and it's not the same. I mean, we've had events that went worse than that.
Definitely.
And not worse, but like were brutal. The thing that's so hard about growth is that you need to go beyond the line to find it. And when you live beyond the line long enough, when you go back to neutral, you are bigger now. You are more capable now. The amount of innovation that came from my frustrations and her frustrations, trying to get it all done. First of all, there's no such thing as getting it all done, but there is such thing as getting more important stuff done by living in the pressure cooker. There's certain techniques, certain things, certain tools, certain lists, certain systems that we created during event season to make that work because it wasn't working. It's this weird duality between Kev, Emilia, Amy, we're in trouble. This isn't working. We can't do this. I don't have the time to make this work. Okay, so what do we do about it? One of the things that bothers me so much in life, and my frustration is not with any listeners or you, Kev, it's just with this effing concept. How in the hell are you supposed to improve without facing the pain of failure? I'm so convinced that, okay, I got injured. Now I do better mobility. Now I learned new mobility techniques. I injured my lower back. Now I have a perfect system to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm foam rolling my lower back every single day without fail. And what are the other benefits that come from that? My workouts are better. I'm more pliable. I hydrate better. All these different things. I think most growth, unfortunately, comes from pain. It comes from failure. It comes from, let me give this thing a try and realize I am inadequate. I had to face every inadequacy during event season. Okay, now I'm doing 20 minutes a day of relationships, building relationships with amazing people. Dude, the reason why that was born is because I realized us not doing that is a huge jeffing.
For sure.
And would I have ever realized that if we didn't face the pain of neglecting that since COVID? And again, not fully. Obviously, we don't fully neglect that, but it's not something we focused on a ton. Some of the new social media stuff we're doing, all of that was born out of this. So the question is, how do you go past the line, but not so far past it that you nearly die?
And you don't live there.
You can't live there forever, no. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
I think that's one of the reasons people are hesitant to do something that's overwhelming, is because they're afraid they'll live there forever. And I think as human beings, it's easier to undershoot your entire life than it is to overshoot.
It is.
And it makes sense. Like, I have nothing but empathy for that. It makes me sad because I understand what that's going to lead to.
But everyone is either overshooting or undershooting.
But I think most people are under. I think most people are undershooting.
What would be your advice then? I'm over. I know that. I'm grateful we did a smaller event this time.
Same.
I thought that showed humility.
Experiment with the other side. Just because you experience something doesn't mean you have to adopt it completely. You don't. There's ways to get out of overwhelm. You can dial it back. I would say this: don't marry the thing that creates the overwhelm. So for us, if we were doing an event every month, our lives it's just not sustainable. There's no way we could do it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be optimal. That would be so
much.
far over we would burn the nachos.
But if we never did an episode, never did an event again ever,
exactly.
That's under.
That's under. Agreed.
We have leveled up to the point where if we were to do one event every year forever, it would be easier than it ever has. Still challenging, but it's easier because we've become more and we know more and we have more lessons and all that stuff.
And the reason we have more lessons is we made all those mistakes.
Yeah.
And we make some of them again, but there's certain mistakes we'll never make again.
Yeah, but the mistakes are it's just based on the goal. And if like we were going to do a retreat and we decided, we're not going to do it.
Not this year.
So we said that would be too overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be optimal. So let's just not do that. Let's do that next year. Let's push that to next year. We understood how overwhelming it was going to be based on what we just experienced, and then we made changes. So I think it's that. Don't sell yourself short by saying, I don't want to experience any chosen overwhelm. Because this is all chosen. We're choosing to be overwhelmed, and I hope whether you're watching or listening, you have the opportunity to do that. Because I know sometimes your job probably overwhelms you, and family and bills and finances and stuff you're going through with sickness and all that stuff is super overwhelming. So this I'm talking about is chosen overwhelm, because some of the other stuff you can't really control, unfortunately.
I asked one of the team members recently, where are you at 0 to 10 if 10 is max capacity? And she said 7. And when she said 7, I knew we still had three wiggle room. But if she said 9, I wouldn't have added anything, because what if she gets sick?
Yeah.
See, a 9 becomes 12 when you get sick or when you burn out or when you have a death of a loved one.
Circumstances matter.
They so do, brother.
This is not that motivational time where it says, no matter what, do it. Try to do what you can with what you have and don't sell yourself short. But circumstances matter more than I think a lot of people want to admit.
This whole industry says, no excuses regardless of the circumstance. Not the whole industry, but I would say half of it. Everyone in the industry, by the way, I want to share that, like personal growth, personal development, self-improvement. There's either the people on the end of it doesn't matter what the circumstances, get it effing done.
Yeah. And
then on the other end, it's sometimes like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I guess it's not aligned. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do. You do. But also, circumstances matter. And there was days when I was sick for the first time in a long time where I was like, it's not even optimal for me to do what needs to get done today, quote unquote. And so that's why I always talk about minimums. Minimums are so important. What are your minimums? What are your non-negotiable minimums? Maybe it's 5 minutes a day of something. Checking the box is so good for your self-esteem. And I don't mean checking the box meaning don't put in effort. I don't mean checking the box like lackadaisical, whatever. But some days, you don't have to do a 10 out of 10 yoga session every day. If you jump on the yoga mat and you get it done, even though it's not perfect, that's better than no yoga. Mm. And what's underneath that more than anything too is the compound effect and self-esteem. I don't believe, Kev, that you can have high self-esteem without keeping promises to yourself. I don't. I've tried. I tried for years, dude. Back when I was not into fitness and I wasn't going to the gym and I wasn't exercising, this is a bold statement, so please don't villainize me, listeners. I want to see you win. I told one of my clients this yesterday. I said, my job, really underneath it all, is helping you be the most successful and fulfilled you can be. Both. I've been successful and deeply unfulfilled. I've also been deeply fulfilled and broke. Both of them suck, I promise. My job is to make you as successful and fulfilled as possible, and that means your unique version of that. So here's what I'm going to say. I didn't exercise for years, Kev. I was never going to be fulfilled without exercising. I think that's a pipe dream. The neuroscience shows that when you exercise, the biochemistry that it releases, it reduces stress hormone, it increases all the amazing brain chemicals, dopamine and oxytocin, and you're never going to be, please don't villainize me for this, but you're never going to be fully fulfilled without exercise. You just won't, and neither will I. I tried. So that's just one of those boxes you have to find a way to check. It doesn't mean it has to be every day like me, right? You have to find a way to consistently check that box, though. I had someone reach out yesterday, a community member, I'll keep it anonymous. He said, hey, I've been really killing it. My credit score went up by 72 points. I've lost 10 pounds. I started working with a personal trainer. It's like, awesome. If you have stories like that, please reach out. I love it. And I think there's a part of him that thinks he's bothering me. I could get messages like that all day, every day. I love it. I don't really care that much about the weather or what Patriots did or the football. Like, don't reach out to me about any of that. But if you want to reach out to me about success, I love it. I want to hear every success story and every struggle you've ever had. I love it. Success and struggle. I need them both. And that you can't have one without the other. So, but the point is he's been grinding, paying off this bill, doing this credit card, working the extra hours. New job's been tough, but losing weight, personal trainer, the gym, 10 pounds. I love it. I live for that. I want to hear every listener reach out saying, hey, I'm struggling here and I'm crushing it here. And maybe I'll help you, but I might not even have to help you. I just love to hear about it.
Progress is this thing that creates an aura around you. It creates this energy. It creates this... Yeah, it's really hard to explain. It's like it creates a light around you. Like, people can see it. When you meet someone who has a ton of progress and a ton of momentum, you can feel it. Everything is different. The way they stand, the way they sit, the way they have their chin up, their chest up, it's completely different. So I definitely second that. But sometimes you're probably going to burn yourself out trying to make progress, and then you'll have to figure out what optimal is. And other times, you'll undershoot, and you'll get less progress because of it, and then you just have to figure out what's optimal. And it's that forever. It's that forever and ever.
What's your next level nugget, brother?
My next level nugget is... I think you can only accurately fear something to the degree that you've experienced it. In this case, right? You don't have to experience fire to understand and fear fire. That's a natural thing. Fire is scary. Heights are scary. If you ever stood at the edge of a building.
You'll fear it the right amount when you've experienced it, though.
Yeah, but you also might fear it more.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
it's true.
Yeah. Or you might fear it under. It depends. I've sat in fire training. I sat in a fire. I sat down in one because that was part of the training. Is you just kind of experience fire. It wasn't
like a
ghost.
suit? With a suit on?
Yeah, with the gear on, and it was interesting. Fire is a very interesting thing. I've put out fire, so it's different. I wouldn't say I'm more afraid than the average person.
Probably
I don't know.
Less because you feel like you're more in control of the situation.
Maybe.
So there's where humility comes in. High humility comes in.
I love high humility. I'm a huge fan of high humility.
High humility. You feel like you are competent around fire more than me. Although obviously less than some of the other people in your department.
Yeah.
Based on some of your past stories. Yeah. 3 a.m. car fire.
I wouldn't consider myself...
Hey, Kev, hook the X up to the Y up to the Z.
Can't do it. I have no idea. I don't understand what you're saying. It's just like we talked about the rapping, the martial arts, and the comedy. It's like in certain rooms, yes, I might be the only person who has ever had experience with that. If you put me in a room with a bunch of other people who do it professionally, I don't want to be there because I'm not going to be very good.
Yeah. Professional everything is hard. It's always more than you think.
Yeah.
The point of that, though, is you are more confident with a fire than the standard citizen.
Yes.
But you have to stay humble with it, too.
100%.
It's almost like the more confident you get, the more you need humility. The less confident you are, the more you're naturally letting fear drive, and you don't need humility as much. That's a whole nother discussion, though. My next little nugget, I had it earlier when I asked you. What was it? Hold on. Please come back to me. Next level nugget.
Want it all, but I don't want nothing at all.
I found it.
Nice.
I found it. Nice.
Go on.
Sometimes, almost all the time, You have to let the old phoenix burn down to rise anew. And that's what the emotional hangover was after the event. I'm connecting with Amy later today, live event coordinator, Amy L., shout out to you. And we're going to talk about all the amazing things, but we're also going to talk about all the things that are not optimal. And I'm going to ask for feedback too. I've already done this with the rest of the team. I said, is there anything that you noticed about my leadership that was constructive versus destructive? I got the 360-degree review. And there's a lot I learned from that. There's also a lot of things we did really well. So the old me did burn down, literally and metaphorically. And the new us is rising from that. And I think that that's just par for the course. And burning down hurts. Of course. You're not going to do great stuff where it doesn't hurt. There's no such thing. So
I have a new next level nugget. What's the old adage about the person who flew too close to the sun and their wings melted?
Oh, isn't that Icarus?
Icarus, I believe. That is burning out. But many people don't know this. And I don't even know if this is true, but I saw it somewhere and it is wisdom, so I'm going to drop it. The reason he flew too close to the sun is because he couldn't fly too close to the water, because if his wings got wet, he'd die too. So he chose to fly higher, and he ended up getting too close to the sun. The truth is, if he went too low, he'd be dead too, son. And I think that's take it easy. Let me do this. Let me tell the tale, okay? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it makes sense. One's overwhelm on one side, one's could potentially overwhelm on the other side. Mm-hmm. Now, again, don't quote me. I don't know if that's even real. I don't know if anybody has ever said that, but I heard it somewhere, and I said, oh, interesting. That makes a lot of sense. Just like the jack of all trades, master of none, that's like only the first part of that. There's like a whole rest of the part that also has wisdom in it.
Okay. What's
happening?
Episode,
yeah, what's happening?
Promise.
Yeah, quickly.
If you stay underwhelmed for too long, eventually life will overwhelm you.
100%.
If you stay overwhelmed for too long, you're going to burn down.
Yes.
There's a way to stay in your challenge skills sweet spot that we've talked about so many times. Snowboarding, bunny hill at the beginning, eventually black diamond. Do not start at the black diamond.
No.
That's how you break your tailbone, like I did.
You broke your tailbone?
Yes, sir.
In the wise words of Johnny Knoxville from Jackass, we don't even have tails, so what do you need a tailbone for? So there you go. If you have not yet gotten your next level Dreamliner for Q2, let's say you've already gone through your first 90 days, we have them, we'll have the link in the show notes to get them on Amazon. And if you have not yet joined Next Level Nation, please do so, a group of like-minded individuals who want to see you get to the next level. And I think that's the best part of any positive community is people want to see you do really, really good things.
Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It's actually not focused.
Nope.
Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time is the Dreamliner, but that's also group coaching. Group coaching Tuesday, April 9th, is the first session of Group 14. Group 13, congratulations again. Team Breakthrough. I used to know all the names, and it's become too overwhelming.
There's
I
a
don't
lot of them.
remember all 13 of them
Yeah,
anymore.
there's a lot of them.
We have iterated on and improved this group coaching program 13 times. 13 quarters. How long is that, Kev? So you're looking at 3 years and a quarter. Right?
Yeah, strong word.
Yeah. So 3 years, 3.25 years we have spent and invested making this program as valuable as humanly possible. Click the link in the show notes, check out the landing page, watch the video, look at what you get. It's a whole thing. 6 weeks. Most people are afraid of it because they're afraid to let themselves down again. Have the courage to give it a shot. We're going to be with you every step of the way. Amy's going to be with you every step of the way. 6 bi-weekly coaching sessions, a team of 10 like-minded people. A lot of people have told me I was afraid that I wouldn't fit in. I was afraid that these would be next-level people and that I wouldn't be next level enough. None of that. This is a place and a safe space to be who you are and to start at whatever level you're starting at. I don't care if you start at level 9. I don't care if you start at level 2. There's no bullies allowed. Okay? So the most supportive group of people possible. Check out the link in the show notes. Reach out to me or Kevin via email. That will also be in the show notes. And just ask, hey, what's this program about? Reach out. We would love to have you in Group 14.
Tomorrow, for episode number 1658, going backwards might actually be going forward. I got a really vulnerable message from someone that gave me the thought to do this episode. So I think that'll be a really powerful one. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it in the sweet spot. Next Level Nation.